to the Geekly Gab and Nerdical Nonsense Show. Now, here's your hosts, Alan, Randy, and Shane.
Alright, welcome nerds, geeks, ghouls, goblins, ghosts, demons, deadites, screwheads, anybody, creatures of the night. Welcome to the Geekly Gab and Nerdical Nonsense Show. I am Shane.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Randy.
And I'm Chris.
And we are here to talk about a very, very epic and scary and hilarious and sexy tale that is Ash versus the Evil Dead. It's been something I've been waiting for a long fucking time. I'm a huge Evil Dead fan. We will get into that later. But it's really cool that this franchise has been picked back up. And thank you to Starz for that. But yeah, we're here to drop some topics and discussions. Got a couple lists for you. We have our guest here, Chris Dyke, a local comedian. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We always love having different guests, different opinions. So we're Chris. We wanted Chris here because there's a lot of comedy in this, and it goes hand in hand with the horror for Ash versus Evil Dead. So it's really cool to get a comedian's aspect. I like to think of myself as an amateur comedian, but
especially on Facebook.
Right, especially on Facebook. Especially on Facebook. But
You're a Facebook comedian.
Yeah, Facebook comedian, exactly. Where you can't see my ugly mug. No, but basically we're gonna get into the 3 S's by sparking up this bowl, and the 3 S's are that we smoke, we swear, we're so sorry that we're not sorry. If you don't smoke, we apologize, but we happen to get dumb while we do this shit. So if you don't like it, tune off. If you do like it, I spark this bowl now. Somebody take it away.
Man, we live streaming this shit too. This is insane.
And if you didn't get the clue from a couple episodes ago, we do smoke, because there was some mix-ups there. That's my bad, though.
There were a couple episodes where I was mentally retarded.
Yeah, there's a couple times where I got shit switched too, but that's because we smoke. That's part of 3 S's. That's part of who we are. And
that Batman Superman episode, I was over here on the couch, mind numb.
Just
you guys were talking about shit, and I'm over here like,
what?
Superman sucks, man.
Also, we want to let you guys know that we will be talking about spoilers in the show. If you have not seen episodes 1 through 10 of the Evil Dead, Ash versus the Evil Dead. See, it's starting already. Thanks, Alan. You're setting a trend. But we're gonna be spoiling a lot of shit. So if you haven't seen it, go watch the shit and come back and join us, because we are going to be talking about a lot of cool shit. And you're definitely not gonna want to miss it if you haven't already seen it. So that's our little introduction. Basically, now I want to get into everybody's, basically how indebted each of us is into the Evil Dead franchise. Would anybody like to start?
I'll start this.
Alrighty.
Shoot out.
Basically, I had no idea what Evil Dead was, and to this day, I don't think I've sat through Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2, which is basically the same thing. I don't think I've sat through them in their entirety.
How dare you?
I feel
they
bad
do
about
have similarities.
I feel so bad about it.
Yeah, basically, Evil Dead 1 is almost summed up in Evil Dead 2 in like 5-10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that was purposefully just to kind of go, okay, that's what you know. Now let's get along with what you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But Army of Darkness, however, is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Absolutely.
And I felt that they carried a lot of that humor over to the series Ash versus Evil Dead. But
yeah, absolutely.
a lot of my comedy, like a lot of my humor, my sense of humor comes from this show. Just the dry, not really dry, perverse, just
sarcasm, that type of thing.
Yeah. Just a big pig, really. That's what Ash is.
Filled with one-liners.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
womanizing pig, really.
But at the same time, he's got the will of a warrior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
Well, he got scared into it at first from the very first movie. He was such a pussy then.
Yeah.
Thank your mom because she gave you curves in all the right places.
I love that. It's like, my mom died 6 months ago.
To be completely fair, like Ash vs. Evil Dead inspired me to learn a couple tunes on my bass guitar. Like,
Right.
I can play space trucking now.
There you go.
I watched the first episode and I went, I must learn this song.
That's what's up.
So I don't know. I don't know. A lot of my sense of humor comes from that show, and just that's about as far as I go on gore too. Like I have a friend who goes apeshit for like the goriest, like nastiest horror films, like B-rated shit.
And that's one thing that Evil Dead is really big on, is like if you're gonna go bloody, go fucking bloody, and they do every time. Like it's shown in the comics, it's shown in the movies, the show now, it's shown in the even the musical they did. I mean, there's a splatter section. There's a splatter section where you knew you had to bring something.
They do love blood.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, and the blood that's in Evil Dead doesn't bother me. It's when you have movies that they pride themselves on using almost 750 gallons of fake blood because that's just what they did.
Right.
And I'm like, dog. There's a movie my friend was telling me about where this dude runs into a house with a lawnmower strapped to his chest because the house is filled with zombies. And they use so much fake blood in this scene because the guy's got the lawnmower running as he's running into this group of zombies that you could see people slipping and falling in the living room that aren't even getting hit. Because it's so wet and nasty in there, they're slipping and falling.
It's like watching WWE Royal Rumble. Right. There's like 30 of them. There's like 30 of them. One person misses a punch and the other person falls. He wasn't even by him.
How does that
Shit, I think he meant that for me.
It's gonna be a slobber knocker.
By God Almighty!
Yep.
Oh, that's funny.
I do love it. I love his confidence too, even with how he talks. Because when we were quoting when he first walked in and started talking to Kelly, and he goes, "No, the proper response when someone says that is." I love that. It's like her mom just died, and you're telling her how she needs to react.
Right. And I love the scene with when they ends up killing or burying Kelly's parents, and they throw the crosses down.
Oh yeah, I love that too.
You know they were Jewish, right? And he just kind of looks at her like,
information I needed beforehand.
No, I wish you would have told me that before I made these silly fucking crosses. like there's so much of that in this series that is just it makes it definitely has the chemistry for a really good TV show, especially on something like Starz. Like I actually sat down and watched both the San Diego Comic-Con panel and the New York Comic-Con panel for Ash vs. Evil Dead. And they talk about Starz a lot. Like, they straight up said, they're like, there is no other place we really could have had this range. You know what I mean? There really isn't. Like, I mean, I guess they could have went to maybe HBO or Showtime. But I think...
They don't really do that kind of, like, that type of humor.
The blood and gore, especially.
Yeah.
And, like, if you noticed, Lucy Lawless is in this show. She was also on the Spartacus series, which is also a Starz show. So they kind of had an in with that, I'm assuming, where she probably did some consulting.
There is ins and outs to this, because HBO does have Game of Thrones. I don't know how bloody it is. That's more my girlfriend's
Definitely
thing.
not as bloody as Ash vs. Evil.
And nowhere near humorous.
Tits, really.
Yeah.
But
Promises of Zombies and Dragons.
Yeah.
I was saying, I know there's a lot of blood.
They delivered on both, though.
Oh,
I know there's a lot of blood in True Blood, but that's HBO again. But
Showtime.
Showtime had Dexter.
No, it's Vampire Dicks and Tits.
Yeah. I'll give a Showtime that one. Dexter, it had kind of that
Dexter
same.
was a very,
it was a little,
very well.
Yeah, a little gory in
There
certain
was a lot less
instances.
dicks and tits.
Yes.
Yeah. But the humor was very, very dry.
Yeah.
You
Hashtag
mentioned-
Dicks and Tits.
Nothing but dicks and tits.
Every show we hashtag something funny we
Dicks
say.
and
So I
tits.
think we're gonna knock it out early and say hashtag Dicks and Tits.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh my God, Game of Thrones is so gory." No, It's really not.
It's really just dicks and tits.
I mean, there's a lot of blood, but you never see any guts. You never see any hands flying off of people.
Well, man, you're really scaring somebody who's never seen an episode of Game of Thrones, which I know. I know everybody. I'm probably gonna
You've
get.
never seen an episode of Game of Thrones?
Not fucking one.
My wife
My
wife fell asleep in the like fucking midway through the first episode. I wanted to choke her. I was just like,
It's so.
I'm ready to
good.
watch
How
this
could
whole
you
series
not?
again. What is wrong with you?
Oh my god, it gets so good, especially when the dragons show up, and then there's the White Walkers from the north. That's a whole nother
Episode.
That's a whole
If people want to watch dicks and tits.
dicks
Yeah,
and tits, yes.
yeah.
But I mean, True Blood was the same way. It was kind of a shoddy story about a fairy, and she was in love with some vampires, and then the vampires were using her, and the whole time everybody's fucking. There's an episode where they tied a dude down to a bed because he they thought that he could give them some kind of magical power. These rednecks had tied him down to a bed. And all it was all of the daughters going in, pulling a train on this poor dude. And then they all
What a poor guy.
Then they all turned into panthers and bit him.
So it's like,
And then they came back in and fucked him again.
wow, it's like True Death by Snoo Snoo.
Holy
shit.
It was like half a season. This dude was just laying in a bed, getting bit by were-panthers and getting fucked by them.
Which is a Matt Groening's Futurama reference, if you didn't get that. All right, well, anyways, we'll go back to the task at hand. Is that all you wanted to say about Ash versus the Evil Dead?
Yeah, makes some sense.
Dicks and
Your
tits.
turn. Your turn. How were you first introduced to it, and what did you think?
I was first introduced to it through Evil Dead 2. That's the first one I seen, and then I went back and watched the first one, and then I watched Army of Darkness, and then I had watched the remake, which it was decent in its own way.
I haven't seen the remake.
I
wouldn't recommend it.
No, really. That's
to be honest with you, I didn't really enjoy
That's
it.
interesting. All right.
I heard it's more horror than comedy.
I'll keep my take on it for my turn, but yeah, I feel differently. Actually.
It had odes to the original ones.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it
did.
did,
It
but
did.
it was its own thing.
Yeah,
Some
was.
people liked it, some people hated
Is
it.
Ash in it?
No, well, I mean, he has a scene at the there's a scene at the very end credits.
It's kinda like a cameo.
Yeah, it just shows him turn his head and he says, "Groovy." I think. That's
Yeah,
what he
because
says.
you know how he does all those stupid tags.
But I honestly think that was Alvarez kind of doing a favor for Sam, like, hey, he's not dead. You're gonna see him soon, basically.
Yeah.
And then I think Ash versus the Evil Dead was the response to
I
that.
think
honestly,
I think what drew me
it had
away
nothing to
from
do
it-
with the movie at all. The Ash cameo.
I think what drew me away from it, like I like them kind of somewhat sticking true to the original, was the fact that they heightened the suspense. Like they truly tried to make it like a horror fucking
film.
scary movie.
Yeah, there was really no comedy. If it was, it was just kind of, you know.
What was the one when she got
playful friend
possessed and she
comedy.
was in the basement? She's like, "Give me a kiss, cunt," or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kind of funny,
but
but-
that's very Evil Dead though.
Yeah,
They do that in the sense not for comedy, but just for kind of surprise itself. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I just
I
called
mean-
that person a cunt. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if that's funny, then I laugh at scenes in The Exorcist where the little girl's like, "Your mother will suck dick in hell."
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Exactly.
Well, that's because that is funny.
Her walking down the stairs backwards, pissing on herself.
That's hilarious, honestly. And you know why it was successful? Because there was no dicks and tits.
You need dicks and tits to make money.
That's the new generation.
Yeah, just
Swear to
ask a
God.
hooker.
Dicks and tits and CGI.
Okay, back to where you were.
Anyways, when you get to the show, I actually enjoyed the show from beginning to end. I watched it as it came out, and I was really happy with where it went, and I can't wait to see where it's going next, because it is confirmed for a season 2.
Is it? Okay,
Yes.
great. I did not check that. That was the part of my research I did not get to before the podcast, was if they were confirmed for a season 2 or not.
But it was a weird way to leave it off the way that
Well,
they
I think
did.
that was their point. They were like, hey, we're going to leave it off and be like, now it's like, you got to give us a season 2. And actually, there was a Comic-Con quote that I wanna read off, and it was Bruce Campbell at San Diego Comic-Con, and he said that all the fans wanted Ash, basically. And he says, well, guess what? You got Ash. You got as much as we want, basically.
Nice.
So basically he asked in both Comic-Cons how many seasons do you want of this? Because we're willing to give you as much as you want. So as long as we the fans keep supporting the show, it's going to keep going. So I mean, I honestly, and if you guys want to put it in the comments how many seasons you guys think that they should have, Bruce Campbell actually said that 5 was a pretty good number. 5 and 7 were probably his 2 favorite numbers as far as the numbers that they rolled off in the crowd. So
sounds like some Sam action.
Yeah.
Weren't noticed 5 and 7. You thought it might go 5, but it went 7.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I mean that could be it. I mean that we might see. We're probably going to see at least 3 seasons. That's my opinion. We're going to see at least 3, but I would love to see 5. I would love to see 5 and it actually conclude because, yeah, I think it'd be interesting for Starz to actually hold on and finish off everything.
You got us over there?
Well, even
well, what do you know?
Right on.
even if it went to 7.
I think it's a bit delayed. You just look like you're on your phone the whole fucking time.
Even if it went to 7,
We're
it
on
would
live
be good.
stream, by the way.
As long as it didn't go the way of Burn Notice, which is where when you get to season 5, it gets all kind of like confusing and it doesn't really. It's not good anymore.
Don't confuse it, and at least have something that keeps like the suspense going or keeps people like interested. I think that's what drew me out when this is completely unrelated, but with Boardwalk Empire. Like the first 1 or 2 seasons were incredible. Then they had Then they had another great one, but it was like the last, I think like 2 toward the end. I was like, this is kind of weird.
And back on the unrelated there with Boardwalk Empire, I feel weird watching Steve Buscemi in anything that's serious.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I loved him in Con Air. He was really good in Con Air.
Yeah, but he played a psychopath. Yeah, but he played a psychopath.
Yeah, I thought it was good though.
He was a mob boss in Boardwalk Empire.
Oh
it was
yeah,
just a weird role.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
I can still picture him back in what is it? That movie Mr. Deeds.
You crazy.
With the crazy eyes. It's just like this is Nucky Thompson.
I just watched it yesterday. It was just on TV yesterday.
Gumdrops and pepperoni pizza. Thanks, Deeds. That shit's crazy.
Whoa, this is fast. I love it. I just love it.
I keep interrupting you.
It's okay. It's okay.
Keep going. Keep going.
Are you all set? Are you basically? I mean, you talked about the show, so
yeah. I'd say I'm good. I mean, overall, I love Evil Dead. It's great, and Ash vs. Evil Dead is a great addition to it.
Yeah, all right, let's move on to Chris.
It starts off with a really like dark, like makes you want to cry thing. I actually stayed away from any and all horror movies because of my stepdad. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Evil Dead had something to do with it, but I was only like 4 or 5 when he came around in my life, and he's really, really big into like these military and like blood, guts, and gore kind of stuff. But he loved Evil Dead. One night he made me like forced me like, you are going to stay up and watch this whole movie. No, I don't want to. It's scary, you know.
Right.
Bitching up. So I do know one of those key movies in Evil Dead is the one that stood out because I remember Army of Darkness, but I don't remember anything about it. I just know, hey, you know, this chick goes nuts later on and he's in love with it. I remember that. I do remember that. And he built this really cool car and he fucking jumped out of it because of it.
Right. You're like, you son of a bitch.
Which could have been a good analogy for how life would be later on in life. But with marriage and shit like that. Yeah. But to my wife that may be listening, I'm sorry. But yeah, I stayed away from him. I stayed away from him for a long time. And then to be honest with you, and I'll be the admission that I'm not all up to date on everything. I borrowed the second and third movie from you, and then I downloaded the first one, so I got all caught up on the movies. I watched Army of Darkness this morning, and then I got 4 episodes in to the series Ash vs. the Evil Dead. The series is fucking great. I love it.
And
it's funny as hell. It's a good story to it. He's still got that cockiness, even though like he's not accepting that. He's 30 years older now. He's lost a step, you know, things like that.
Right, absolutely.
Even when Pablo's uncle was picking on him and shit, and he goes, "All right, you can take that and shove it up your ass."
Right. That was good.
I love that.
Yeah.
He's like a big 10-year-old.
So I mean, we got a range of devoted Evil Dead fans, and then you know Chris
and a new big one. I can't wait to finish it now after
Chris
you guys
is kind
told
of getting into he's got into the movies, he's dabbled in the movies, and then he's really getting into the series. Me personally, I'm right there with Randy. I got in at Evil Dead 2. I believe that came out in, 87? I believe. Yeah, and that was year I was born. So, I mean, back in the day, I can't remember how old I was when I saw Evil Dead 2 for the first time. I had to be at least probably around 8, somewhere between 8 and 10. I watched horror movies at a very young age. But got into it, always wondered about, where the guy went, where Ash eventually went into time, and then they covered it with Army of Darkness, and Army of Darkness came out. I was blown away. It is my favorite of the 3 movies, honestly. Especially because of the hand-in-hand horror to comedy ratio, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it really, the progression was in the first Evil Dead, it was straight just horror with, the practical effects that they could get away with for its time. Because that was in the 70s. And then
with a very, very small budget, too.
Yeah, exactly. And then in the 80s, they did Evil Dead 2, and it had a little bit of comedy, and especially in the whole scene where he's about to chop off his hand and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot more of it in there. And then Army of Darkness, as Sam Raimi said before, it mainly focuses on Ash himself being the key focal point of the movie. So it's they just hand in hand it with the comedy, and horror. So, and they really implement that in Ash versus Evil Dead. Now getting to that, seeing the first season, all 10 episodes, I was blown away. I felt like a kid in the candy store just watching this come back and be revived. If I could compare it to anything, it's a notch above how I felt when I knew that they were making a Boondock Saints 2, and I went and seen that because I'm a big fan of that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
And then the sequel was just as good, if not better.
Yeah,
agreed. And now I believe they're working on a third one. I believe Norman Reedus has confirmed that they are working on a third one.
Well, they made it end at a point to where it would definitely make sense
to have a conclusion
to make a third.
Yeah. The show for Ash vs. Evil Dead, as a show itself, is still really cool. Even if you didn't really know the story of the things before it, they kind of cover what you need to know in the show itself, fills in the gaps. But the best part is if you were a fan of the franchise, it's stepping right back into it.
Yeah.
And just I'm going back to another quote from Bruce Campbell at the San Diego Comic-Con. He says it's like putting on an old comfortable slipper. It's worn and torn, but it feels good. You know what I mean? And I love that quote. That stuck with me because it's true.
Yeah, it's
the way the effects they use. They tried to use more physical, practical effects over the They still did use some CGI, which you really have to this day and age, but they kind of strayed away from it as much as possible, which I respected. They wanted to keep that old, and Sam Raimi didn't direct every episode. To my knowledge, he just directed the first one. But he
did stay on. Though,
yeah, it just had that feel of Evil Dead the whole time. The hand in hand comedy, like I said, this whole time really puts it together. I think. The implementing the cabin, bringing the cabin back, my fucking God, I was so happy about that. That blew me away. Was that when you see that scene of Ash's hand crawling back to the cabin? You didn't even think his hand was a player in this season. When you first, I didn't anyways.
I thought it was gone.
Yeah, honestly, I'm I would have never expected them to bring back Ash's hand.
As soon as that
was amazing. The recreation of the cabin, the end scene with him going into the shed and his girlfriend's there fucking with him again. You know what I mean, Linda. That blew me away. You see that her T-shirt's still hanging up in the fucking spare bedroom. Everything they paid so much attention to detail. I watched some behind the scenes stuff, and they made sure that they literally frame by frame took Evil Dead 2 and used that as a complete reference. Recreated the cabin, the shed, everything, the inside and outside of the place, and then also made it look like it's been aged for 30 years.
Yeah.
So they added their own element on top of it. It's really cool. But all around, blown away by this season. The ending kind of threw me off, but it's typical Army of Darkness Ash. If you know what I'm talking about, the decision he made at the end of the series to kind of just walk away and go to Jacksonville. That doesn't surprise me because that's typical Army of Darkness Ash, even though they really don't mention Army of Darkness in this story arc, which is something I'm going to get into later, a little theory of mine.
I did find it interesting he didn't work at S-Mart anymore.
Well, S-Mart, they talk about in the first one that S-Mart became basically taken over by another company, and that's why he was grandfathered in, and why that guy couldn't fire him basically.
Oh,
it's because he was from S-Mart, probably the only employee left, and now they could.
Plus, he has that history.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like they explain to you in a nutshell what happened to S-Mart. You just gotta kind of fill in your own.
Well,
gaps.
and I like the way, like you were saying, with how he acted in Army of Darkness, how he was right at the end of it when he. Like, you're fading out, and then there he is in real time telling the story. Like, yeah, could have made me a king, but I chose to come back here. It's like, oh, yeah, you came back to S-Smart? Boy, great decision, you know? And then all of a sudden, all of a sudden, here comes that beautiful chick, and then there's a Deadite. Yep. I saved the store.
Who the hell are you?
Name's Ash. Housewares.
I love that.
Good line, man. Like I said, king of one-liners, man. Bruce Campbell. It's the best part about the Ash versus Evil Dead is that we saw the remake and we're like, yes, but it's not what we wanted. We want to see Ash return. This was the response to that. So I mean, I love that. Love that Sam and Bruce are back again. Love that they now have a team of Deadite killers, because honestly, I love Pablo. He's definitely going to mold into something in season 2 that we're going to see.
He reminds me of Glenn from The Walking Dead.
Kind of, yeah. Like,
because I'm a fan of The Walking Dead.
He's very clumsy, boyish at first, but then he's going to mold into something.
By the end,
badass.
he's just like Mr. Badass.
Yeah, exactly. But Kelly, I think Kelly is even more.
She's awesome.
Kelly, if you're going to compare that in Walking Dead terms, Kelly's the Daryl Dixon. You know what I mean? Yeah. She is up and coming.
She was already a badass.
Exactly. That meat slicer scene that had me fucking rolling. She is just literally slicing this Deadite, just thin slice, just how I like it. Like it's like a young Ash, basically, which they do refer her to in I believe episode 2 or 3. They're like, oh, you remind me of a younger me. Family's been torn and killed by Deadites. You want to get revenge? You totally hot bod or some shit like that. So I it's not verbatim, but
You know what I think I really appreciate about shows like Ash vs. Evil Dead is they're made by these old school 80s Hollywood titans like Sam Raimi.
And Ivan Raimi.
Yeah, these guys, they're almost cookie cutter copies of like other greats like Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. Like these guys
John
are
Carpenter, Toby Hooper. There's so many.
There's so many great just directors and producers from the 80s that they were like, we could go for special effects. Or we can just fill a dummy full of Jello and blood and just blow it the fuck up here on stage.
Yeah.
And you want to know the funny thing is, and I'll refer to the 3 S's, is John Carpenter was quoted on it was a special I believe that they played on Sci-Fi about being a master of horror basically. And he says, well, the first thing you got to do is you got to smoke a really fat doob, and then you got to go out there and just do your thing in the night, man. And that's basically what John Carpenter said, man. So that's words to live by, in my opinion.
That must have been where he got the idea for Ghost of Mars.
Oh, shit.
So,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I kind of like the movie, but in the same sense, like, where the fuck did you come up with an idea like this?
Well, they're like, how can we make this movie more badass?
I was like, and you got one
Cube.
I was gonna say, and you got one of the guys from NWA.
Ain't nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it.
These guys come up with ideas though on shoestring budgets. I mean, Robert Rodriguez's first movie, The Mariachi, was filmed and shot on $1,500 total.
Mm-hmm.
Wow! And he said most of that was spent on film.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Like,
film is fucking expensive.
He said it was film. He said he went to Home Depot and bought a bunch of light bulbs, and that was lighting. He had broom handles and light bulbs, and he was just kind of doing this. But, I mean, these guys got it done for cheap. Like, look at Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Those were done on almost no money.
Well, Evil Dead 2 had, an exponentially bigger budget than Evil Dead 1.
You could see too, because I liked I like a little bit more of the humor from Evil Dead 2 than 1, obviously. When there was that scene when everything started coming to life and laughing at him, like the minute he turned around and then that horse head turned and looked at him with those demonic eyes and just starts laughing hysterically.
Yeah, the Deadite deer antlers. Yeah. That was really cool.
No thanks. This is yours.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the comedy aspect I think really flourished and brought the franchise back, because I mean I think the sheer horror of the first one is what got everybody interested, because I believe that stuff started overseas in England, according to Bruce Campbell. They couldn't even get any deals in America for the first one. So it's like when that happened back in those days, horror flourished in the European countries, and it was just like holy shit, because we had like John Landis and all those other people over there, Dario Argento, all those big horror icons from overseas making movies and getting big bucks for it over there.
John Landis was a giant comedy guy here in America.
John Landis? No, he's the one who made American Werewolf in London.
Oh, no shit.
Didn't he also do Blues Brothers and Animal House?
That I do not know.
Time
to IMDb, son.
To the internet.
Google.
Oh, our live stream's still up.
Absolutely. We are live streaming for the first time, and on that note, I think we should get to our first list. We'll get back to some more Evil Dead discussion, which, I mean, this is all Evil Dead. Once again, I will let everybody know, if you just kind of started tuning in with us on the Geekly Gab Nerdical Nonsense show, if when we do our lists, we like to encompass the entire universe of the topic at hand. So when we do these lists, it's usually based off of not only the topic we're talking about, but anything that's done in the form of maybe a comic book, a movie, or anything like that.
John Landis director or John Landis producer?
I believe director.
Director.
John Landis directed American Werewolf.
I know I'm the newbie, and I'd just like to throw this up because I'm slightly selfish, and I have a lot more than you on the first list. Can I actually go first?
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna do our top 3 Deadites.
Oh,
That's what we're gonna do first.
damn it.
All right.
Never mind. I want to go first on the quotes.
Okay,
so because I have a lot more quotes.
All right, so you go. We'll have you go last on this one then.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Blues Brothers, American
Okay,
Werewolf.
so he did do American.
And
Michael Jackson's Thriller. I did not know that John Landis did Michael Jackson's Thriller. Thank you for that. That's
he also did The Three Amigos, Coming to America.
Let's not mention The Three Amigos in that list of movies. Come on.
He did all of the Beverly Hills Cop movies.
Oh, those were good.
Wow.
He did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Also a good movie.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Props to Rick Moranis.
He did the TV series Masters of Horror.
That, well, he did one of them. I have that one. John Landis's movie. Basically, Masters of Horror was a series they did where they had every hour episode was a different horror director. They've had Tobe Hooper, Wes Craven, John Landis, Takeshi Miike. There's so many really good faces of horror, and well, behind the scene faces of horror, I guess I should say.
He did the Twilight Zone movie.
Yep.
You just keep talking about horror, and it just hit me the other day. And I really hate to bring it up, especially in this context. Did you see that they're making another fucking Saw movie?
No, I didn't.
We don't talk
I saw
about
it somewhere.
That's interesting.
We talk about real entertainment on this podcast.
I was gonna say it's fucking horrible.
Well, in my opinion, and this is one thing I didn't mention in my Evil Dead rant about the franchise itself, the Evil Dead remake, although I agree it's not what everybody wanted, with obviously everybody wanted to see Ash kill some Deadite scum, but at the same time, for what it was, because Bruce Campbell basically confirmed that he's like, this is Ash and Ash's story arc of his Evil Dead battles. He's like, now what this is new Evil Dead's gonna be is a completely different universe. And so basically, and he also mentions that you really don't know what time, what date and time, like time frame, aside from the cars that they're driving, you don't really know that it's in a more modern time. They really don't show any, that the fact that they have cell phones and then they had newer cars. That's about the only thing that tells you that they're in somewhat of a modern time.
Is it even in the same cabin?
I mean, it's a cabin. I don't know if it's the same.
It didn't look like the same.
Yeah,
one.
it didn't look like the exact same one, but like I said, they recreated the Evil Dead 2 cabin for Ash versus Evil
Right.
Dead.
And they did it somewhere here in Michigan because they actually shot that all in Michigan.
And like that right
My
there,
friend Goof has been to the original cabin.
that right there brings me to my theory, and I'll do that before we hit this list. My theory, because it was kind of it's a theory I've had for a while. When Bruce Campbell first mentioned that, he kind of shows you he kind of gives you this kind of hand line signature. He's like, this is this timeline with Ash, and then he puts one under it like, hey, this is this one with Alvarez's Evil Dead, and there he said the one thing he said in that interview is, you never know, maybe sometime in the future they could intersect. Now, when I was watching the San Diego Comic-Con, I believe it was, Bruce kind of bullied Sam into talking about his ultimate grand scheme master plan with Ash versus Evil Dead. And basically, he said that he talked with Alvarez, because obviously he consulted in a lot of stuff for that. He had to give up rights, obviously, for it. But he said that they might at some point in time work on a movie where his Evil Dead meets Ash's Evil Dead, which is kind of confirming what my theory was thinking. So we actually may see the girl at the end of the first Evil Dead, basically the female Ash in that movie, meet up with Ash, and they actually fight Evil Dead together.
I have heard of this theory,
and they confirmed it. It seems like it's quite confirmed with the way Sam was talking about it. It was Sam Raimi directly talking about it in San Diego Comic-Con. So, but I think this will be a movie after the show is done. So, we may see that. I think it would be really cool. I think it would be really, really fucking cool.
Indeed.
But anyways, we'll go to our first list, which is the top 3 Deadites. They're from every, like I said, this encompasses every universe. I even speak of the comic books. I believe I have 3 different Army of Darkness comic books. I have Ashes to Ashes, I have Shop Till You Drop, and I have Army of Darkness versus the Reanimator, which is actually a really good read if you guys haven't read it. Really good read. And that makes me happy that they kind of that they encompassed a little bit of the comics into Ash versus the Evil Dead. I didn't know if you guys knew this, but the book actually talks. The book actually talks to Ash in the comics, and as you saw at like the end of the season there, it started getting blood around it, and it actually started talking to him. That's never happened before in any of the other movies, to my knowledge. And so that's really cool. I think they kind of wanted to, I think they grabbed that from the comics, honestly. They might have just thought it'd be cool, regardless, but to me, I consider
Yeah, you can see the connection.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyways,
to interject real quick.
no problem.
Seeing how I misunderstood when you first said what 2 lists were going to be, do not be surprised if I jump in when you mention a Deadite that I would agree with.
Oh, that's not a problem.
For this topic.
Not a problem.
We actually discuss each other's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes we come up with unanimous numbers.
Yeah, I'm looking at your
numbers.
first one, and I'm already going to agree with you there.
Right. We always start from the bottom up. My number 3 is actually Henrietta from Evil Dead 2. Basically the main Deadite at the end, who turns into like a bird long neck lady. I don't know. I don't really know what to call her. But I know her name's Henrietta. Henrietta Nobi, I believe, is her name.
I believe you're right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the way she toyed with her daughter, and like they basically, she was like the max version of what a Deadite could be. And then I think that was kind of why she was granted more mutated abilities than a normal Deadite because she was able to feed off her daughter's fear, basically.
Yeah.
That's my interpretation, of course, but that's one reason why I chose her for my number 3. My number 2 is from Ash vs. the Evil Dead, the show, and it's Deadite Lem. He was fucking absolutely awesome. I was very impressed with him. Like, just walk, because it was very clear he had a drinking problem. He was at a bar, but he said he was sober. He turned into a Deadite, and he's just drinking gasoline and kerosene and shit. And he's just trying to set Ash and the cop on fire, man. Dude, it was such a good scene.
It was.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and for that in the show, it held a special place in my heart. So I give number 2 to Deadite Lem. He was pretty cool. And of course, my number 1 that I've always enjoyed since I was a kid was Evil Ash from Ash versus the Army of Darkness.
That's the one that I definitely agree with. That one's really, really good.
Yeah, I love every part about it. Basically, it was one Ash with a team of good versus another Ash with a team of evil. It was perfect. Army of Darkness, as I said before, my favorite of all the franchise. So
I liked it too because it showed you where it originated from. Because I think I forget if he got possessed exactly. I did miss that part. Well, but all the little miniature versions of himself.
Yeah, basically, he swallows one and it like grows. Basically,
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and it comes out of him, and I
just
love the whole scene. Just I'm bad Ash, you're good Ash. Goody two shoes.
He's mocking him.
That scene is so amazing. Good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun. He's got to chop himself up, which is classic Evil Dead. That's the Evil Dead in Army of Darkness, is when he's got to chop him up. All those scenes, it's like tool shed. You know what I mean? So I thought that was really cool, too. That whole scene of, just the birth of Evil Ash was a really well done scene.
I loved how he was like hurting himself the whole time trying to get those little things to stop. Like
you want to drink some water?
Yeah, he's drinking that hot ass water. All that stuff.
It was good stuff.
Yeah, it's so funny.
That's my top 3 Deadites, and I will give it up to Alan.
Well, my number 3 is gonna be Lem because you already covered it. I mean, he was walking around chugging kerosene and gasoline.
It was so cool.
I don't know. It was. I didn't like the character when he was at the bar, when he was at the restaurant, minding his own, talking with Ash. But as soon as they flipped him and he became a Deadite, it was awesome.
I think that was the point, though. The fact that he was sober and he was a bore, basically, and it's like, oh, now I'm chugging kerosene, trying to kill people. You know what I mean? I think they needed that flip,
right?
And I think that was made for the audience. I think you were made to kind of be like, fuck this guy, he's gonna die soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Another one that I really enjoyed was, and I'm not gonna count it as being Evil Ash, but when he rises out of the ground and then he's the commander of the undead army, the Army of Darkness. Because that's essentially Ash's body. They just formed it back together, and now he's riding a horse.
I mean, it's still Evil Ash. They still consider him Evil Ash at the end, even after he reforms.
Really?
So, yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, he's still basically Evil Ash. I mean, like if you buy his McFarlane toy, it's referred to as Evil Ash, I believe.
That sucks because my number 1 was Anti-Ash from Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's still. I mean, it's because honestly. And part of my whole multiverse theory that I was trying to talk to or say before the whole top 3 list, this Ash versus the Evil Dead very well may be a whole nother storyline in universe in itself, even over the Evil Dead 2 Army of Darkness, because Army of Darkness isn't mentioned in Ash versus the Evil Dead. The only thing they show is the page where they show the picture of him with his chainsaw hand. That's the only really big reference to Army of Darkness. That, and they give him a mechanical hand, but I mean, it's nowhere near as well crafted as the actual Army of Darkness mechanical hand. So,
right.
And he starts out with a wooden hand. He reawoke the darkness instead of him misspeaking the words at the end of Army of Darkness. So this could be a whole nother version of the multiverse.
I love that too, because when they went to the bookstore, the guy was talking like. The main 2 things for somebody to read this book or whatever, either they don't know the power or they're stupid. And Ash is just like, yeah, I was really fucked up. I was trying to impress this chick and read that out of the book. Oops.
Yeah,
She didn't even fuck. Like, I mean, God.
She didn't even give it up.
Yeah, not even a hand job at least. Now I gotta kill all these fucking things.
Well,
It's okay though. He got his the next night.
Yeah.
Randy, your top 3 list of Deadites?
okay, well, I went with mostly characters from the show, but there is one that's in both. My number 3 is Amanda.
Amanda?
Yes. The cop.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Yep.
When she dies
Yeah.
and she comes back as a Deadite, she's
Pretty
gnarly.
boss, and it's cool because she does the classic like Deadite floaty thing. You don't really
Yes.
see that in any of the other Deadites. They're very they're very nimble and they climb walls and shit, but you don't get to see them actually float like the classic Evil Dead style until that scene. That scene's really cool.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just thought of a really great scene. But it's in the very first episode where she's talking to her partner who's already a Deadite.
Yeah.
But he's like flipping back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, I need your help. I need you. And then the light flashes and then he becomes the Deadite. And he goes, to die.
Yeah.
That's like the best scene.
Yeah, it's a good scene. It was a really good scene, especially for a premiere episode.
Yeah.
It's very suspenseful. Anyways.
Her whole journey was pretty good, but
Yeah,
her
absolutely.
demise was also pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Because she
yeah, the
did
way-
float, and then just the way he killed her, and I can't remember exactly what his line was. It was like, "Sorry, babe, I have to chop you up." Just
I just remember the one before she jumps was man did I dump you at the right time or something like that. Yeah, that one was good.
There was one more good zinger though, right as he was stabbing.
Yeah,
that
I don't
chainsaw
remember
up
that
into her.
quote. What was that your number
3.
That was your number 3?
My number 2 was Lem.
Lem.
And I especially enjoyed the diner scene. He might have just become a Deadite or was running and became one after it, but the kid being thrown into the fan, that has to have an honorable mention.
Yeah.
That was so fucking great.
And the 2 kids that fly through the window with the skates that go in their heads. Oh my god, yeah. Like that whole diner scene was kick ass, man. Like that was probably the most action packed of the whole series, probably, honestly. And it was really good. It was really well done. Like I watched the behind the scenes of that as well, and it was like well thought out and well planned.
And then, him running around the Michigan militia base, just, as you said, kerosene and gasoline. Just,
yeah, props to the
shit.
Michigan militia. The whole scenes with those guys, that was really cool. Because, I mean, that's how we roll in Michigan.
I haven't even seen that episode yet, and to be honest with you, I don't even feel spoiled by it because I'm that excited to see it. Like, it sounds that good.
Oh, you're gonna enjoy it. It was well
Well,
done.
you were just saying you played a show in Saginaw?
Yeah.
Yeah. That mentality.
I go to Saginaw a little bit to do shows. Yeah. I got the right idea.
That's where the show was filmed, the Alpena Saginaw area, basically.
Yeah, because he even mentions that in the show. I gotta go to Saginaw. That's where this book needs to get
Well, I
translated. or
believe the
whatever.
show itself. I believe they did a lot of stuff in New Zealand too. As they put it, Lucy Lawless's backyard.
Nice.
Number 1, Linda. How she's fucking with him in the shed.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
I didn't get to IMDb that, which if you want to, that'd be great. I want to know if that's the same Linda from Evil Dead 2.
I believe it is.
I really
That would be
hope it
amazing
is,
if it was.
because that was
That'd be great.
Through everything in the cabin with the hand returning, her returning, just the cabin itself going down the cellar. You know, all those same aspects from the first and second Evil Dead. Linda was my favorite part. Because like you see her as a skull. She's just sitting there as a skull with that chainsaw mark in her head, and Bruce, even before the evil starts fucking with him, he just looks at her and goes, "Hey, Linda, nice to see you." Walks away, and then he can't open the door, and he knows that it's gonna start happening because all of a sudden you hear Ash, and you look back, and it's her with the fucking chainsaw mark in her head, and she's fucking with him again, just like Evil Dead 2. Like that,
Like,
really,
God damn it, this shit again?
Yeah, that really took me back. Really took me back to Evil Dead, to core Evil Dead.
No, it wasn't her.
It wasn't her?
No, the lady that played Linda's head is Rebecca Farrell, and she's only been in one thing, Ash vs. Evil Dead.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still really cool.
She looked pretty similar though. That was a good
I'd
thing.
have to watch. You know, I have to watch
Who played
2.
Linda in the original Evil Dead?
I don't know. I don't think it was even the same person from 1 to 2, honestly. So,
No.
No, it wasn't.
But yeah. So that Linda was your number 1, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I enjoyed that scene a lot.
Okay.
I'll actually take a crack at this, even though I said that I didn't understand it. One that stood out to me, and you guys didn't mention it because I told you where I had left off from watching. I think it was like episode 4, where Ash is in like his happy place in Jacksonville, and then the demon is there. That's the one that I'm going with because he takes over Kelly. Like it makes you think for a second that when she hit it with the book that he went away, but then once her head started fucking with her, it's like, oh,
well, they kind of
that cloud that was right there.
Yeah, that cloud that surrounds her is kind of that scene.
But I love the whole time how it was fucking with him.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking with him, and he was scared and everything. He's like, hey, this is still your place. You can do what you want to it.
Was it like Aragos or something like that? I believe the demon's name was something.
Yeah,
like
I forget.
That.
I forget exactly.
That was and like the way it looked very
Aragos or
Agaros or something like that. It was very Guillermo del Toro, the way that he was vibrating except for his bloody mouth.
Yeah.
It looked very Del Toro to me, like I was watching something from Pan's Labyrinth or Hellboy or something like that. You know what I mean? I thought it was really cool, and that demon was a very good addition.
I was more so actually just excited to announce that one. That was actually probably would be my number 1. So one other, because I already said Evil Ass. I'm not really sure where I would rank both of these because it's funny to me. Don't know if I wrote his name down or not, but his boss.
Oh, his boss that becomes a Deadite.
His boss that becomes a Deadite.
He starts shaking him.
Because I even wrote some of this shit down too. I was just like, I've always hated you.
And fucking Ash has to shank him with a broken beer bottle like 50 times.
Exactly. Yeah, that's great.
Just
the humor in it, I loved it. He goes, I've never killed my boss before, so.
They mentioned Bruce Campbell and the person who did a lot of the writing. They actually mentioned that scene because he literally he had so much blood in that scene because Bruce Campbell talks about now they have this keg that they bring out and it's filled with fake blood. So when you get on set and you see that they're breaking out this keg and how giddy all the effects people are to bust out this keg.
I'm gonna get doused in it.
He's like, I know I'm gonna have the shittiest fucking day of the show. He's like, I know what's happening next. So basically, he's like, I saw that keg come out, and that was the car scene where we were in the Delta, and I had to stab that guy repeatedly. He's like, there's so much blood that went down my throat, I actually choked for a little while. And I'm like damn. But that's the thing. It's something that everybody wants for 1. For 2, it's also a bit of Sam fucking with Bruce, I think, because they like to fuck with each other. They're a good team. I there's no doubt about that.
There's a documentary about Bruce Campbell where it's just following him on a day-to-day basis for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Super Size Me or Super High Me, but it's just Bruce Campbell living his life. There's nothing going on.
Because he never really did anything too big after that until he got I want to say Burn Notice.
Yeah.
That's what really grabbed me. So it's but everyone loves and knows him.
But the best
as Ash.
The best part about this documentary is he's being himself. He's being Bruce Campbell, which is basically Ash minus the one-liners.
Yeah.
Right.
Like those two are very similar.
Oh yeah.
And there's people running up to him in the streets, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so awesome!" And he's just like, "The fuck do you want?" I was just doing my job.
Yeah. I love how
this is 20 years ago, kid. Leave me alone.
Right.
Go get a hobby.
And just a fun thing to mention, watching the New York panel Comic-Con for 2015 with Ash vs. Evil Dead. It was actually moderated by Kevin Smith, which I was very excited to see. It was really good. I totally advise you guys to go back and watch it. At the very end, I was very excited. This isn't really Evil Dead related, but he actually put Bruce Campbell on the spot and said, pretty soon here I'm making a movie called Mallrats 2. Will you be in my film? He said, I'd love to be in your film. And that's how they ended the panel.
Oh my God.
I really hope to see Bruce Campbell in Mallrats 2. And I would think it'd be funny if he played Ben Affleck's dad.
That'd be great. That would be great.
I think that'd be great. But I'm just saying...
Kevin Smith, if you're out there in the podcast world, please make this happen.
He's one of the best podcasters I know personally.
Something I don't think these other two know. Every episode, as soon as we put it up, I grab the SoundCloud link and I make a tweet and I tag Kevin Smith and then I just send.
I was just thinking about that myself right now.
I send every episode.
Mad respect to the Smodcast because we're all avid listeners. I'm pretty sure. Aside from Chris, I'm not sure if he listens into that at all. But
I love podcasts. I just never have time
Right.
to relax and enjoy them.
Right.
I'll tell you what, it was really hard listening to the latest Hollywood Babylon because he breaks down about Alan Rickman.
Oh yeah,
It's really hard.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, man. There's there's a lot of history.
He was
there,
very
so-
well respected too,
Absolutely.
Alan Rickman.
Oh yeah,
So.
amazing actor.
He's the voice of God.
Yeah.
And then
It's
God
true.
was hot.
I want to talk a little bit about Lucy Lawless as Ruby Noby, and if you are a big friend to the franchise of Evil Dead, you know the name Noby, which that's the doctor who originally owned the cabin, did the translations for the Necronomicon. So Lucy Lawless at the beginning is saying she's Ruby. She's tracking Ash down because she thinks that he is the one responsible. Blah blah blah. Once again, we're doing spoilers, so.
But that hit me right away when she said that. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, well, which is kind of weird. I thought the same thing. I kind of was like, okay, I don't get that. I thought, the girl in Evil Dead 2 was the daughter. Maybe they had another one we didn't know about.
That's what got me.
So I'm just like, fuck it, whatever. I accepted it, and then we saw her rise from the ashes of that whole scene with Deadite, Pablo's uncle, I believe it was. Yeah, with him.
Bruja.
Yeah, and Bruja. I was confused. I was like, well, maybe she made a deal or did some type of ritual to make her, give her abilities of some type. I'm like, okay, maybe she still could be human. And then at the end, episode 10, she gets possession of the book and she admits that she's one of the Dark Ones that wrote the book. And I was just like, oh shit, son. You know what I mean? It was like, it blew me away. I was pretty satisfied at that point.
It was mind blowing that they went with a role like that she would be a Dark One so early in the series.
Yeah.
Like, oh, by the way, here's one of the people that wrote the fucking book.
Yeah, and then they also introduced with her the Kandorian blade, which is about the only thing that can fuck with the Deadites and or the book. So that's really cool. Which at the end of the season, Ash actually has possession of it. So that's interesting to know as well.
That's one of the only parts of that show that scared the shit out of me was him running around the basement where those creepy babies are.
Yeah, I love how he tried to Three Stooges the baby. And he pulled out black goo out of his eye.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, it's like, oh, gross. Brings back that Army of Darkness feel again.
Yeah.
With the comedy, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, I was really satisfied with the ending, and I just Lucy Lawless's character in general, the way it ended up turning out. She obviously has to return again for season 2. Plus, the best part about it is you knew it had to be comfortable because she's been doing this with Sam and Bruce before. They worked together on Xena and Hercules. You know what I mean? Bruce Campbell was the was it the King of Thieves or the Prince of Thieves? One of the two. I believe it was the Prince of Thieves. That was Bruce Campbell's part in Hercules and Xena.
Wow.
Did not know that?
No.
Ted Raimi also was Joxer the Mighty in Xena, Warrior Princess.
I never really gave a shit enough to watch either of those shows.
What? Come on. Are you kidding me? You need to go back and watch some of that. Honestly, I've never been a fan of the Greek mythology, Clash of the Titans, Percy Jackson type shit. But honestly, Hercules and Xena were the only two that I ever gave a fuck about. And they go into history big time, like not just with Greek mythology. Like Xena goes into a bunch of different shit, basically. Mm-hmm. Like she ends up fucking around with Julius Caesar at one point, man. Julius Caesar, excuse me. We smoke, we swear, we're so sorry, we're not sorry. Speaking of that, I need to pack a bowl.
In all honesty, we don't really give a fuck if you have an opinion otherwise. I
just like to reiterate when I have a Stauner moment.
We're just nice and we're kind and courteous, but really, fuck off.
Means that with the most respect.
He does.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Anyways, to get back to the Ash versus the Evil Dead, all around, I think it has the feel of the old ones. It has that blend of new that works well with it.
Mm-hmm.
It has all the action you wanted, all the blood you wanted. Like, they're not letting up on that. Thank you, Starz, once again for that, because if it was on any other network, there would have been a huge lack of blood. So the fact that it's on Starz and it's probably going to stay on Starz excites me.
I just want to say I'm glad that he's back in full character.
Absolutely.
Like,
Ash Williams is probably one of my favorite like anti-heroes, because I mean he's not really a hero, as you can even tell now at the end of Ash vs. the Evil Dead. He still thinks about himself a lot. Mm-hmm. So
this time he saved friends.
Right. No, that's exactly. And that's what they said in the Comic-Con panels, is that he had to grow a little throughout the season, because he couldn't just be a stale ass jerk the whole time.
Right.
They had to show him grow. But then at the end you can still tell that, he's out for number one. So it's like, you're gonna see that. Obviously it's gonna get to that point where the balance is gonna have to sway one way or the other.
Yeah.
More than likely, since he is the chosen one, he's gonna take the nobler way. But that I thought they were gonna get that on and over with at the end of season 1, but they didn't. They left you with that cliffhanger, which was honestly good. Writers did their jobs. I was very confused at first, like, what the fuck? Are you serious?
Well,
so nothing got accomplished? What the fuck is going on? There's fucking demon babies running around.
If anything, it was kind of a tactic to force Starz' hand to a season 2.
Yeah. That's what we were talking about.
Maybe,
Yeah, basically.
Maybe
yeah,
if Starz was having cold feet about it or something, which I don't know why, because it's fantastic.
For so many years, people have been begging to see Evil Dead 4. And that's what they've been calling it. I mean, at first it started out, there was talks of doing Evil Dead 4 with somebody else, which I believe Sean William Scott was the Ash character.
No.
Jesus.
Exactly.
No.
And that got shelved. Then they talked about really doing a Bruce Campbell Evil Dead 4. And then Raimi got into doing the Spider-Man films, and like everybody kept asking, when are we going to see Evil Dead 4? And even asking Bruce, and Bruce has said, like, how do you tell a guy who's making Hollywood Spider-Man films to step down and do a low-budget horror film? How do you do that? You don't.
Got a point.
He's like, you can't do it.
They just waited until everyone had time.
They waited for the ride, basically. They waited for the ride to go up and down, and that's it.
Isn't Bruce in all 3 of those Spider-Man movies?
I know he's in the first 2. No, I believe he's in all 3 of them. Yeah, he is in all 3 of them. Yes.
Makes a small cameo.
Yeah, he's the ring announcer in Spider-Man 1.
Yep.
He's the attendant outside the theater in Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
And then in Spider-Man 3, he is the waiter that Peter tries to work with getting Mary Jane her wedding
And he
ring.
keeps telling her, like,
Back off. It's on. It's off. Hold on. Yeah. And
also Ash Williams' car is in all 3 of those Spider-Man movies too.
The Delta is in every single movie that Sam Raimi has ever made.
Even classic.
He loves that car.
Bruce Campbell has even said that it was in a Western.
Nice.
And he loved that car so much that he stripped it down to basically the frame of the chassis or whatever, and put a wagon over it. and it's in the Western.
That's what
film
got me in the very first episode of Ash versus Evil Dead, because here it's been, like they say in the show, 30 fucking years. And I was like, you're kidding me.
The funny.
He got another Delta.
No, it's not. It's the same Delta.
Did
it's
he?
the same. This is the funny thing.
The one that he had in Army of Darkness.
It wasn't a Delta.
No, was it?
What do you mean?
The car that gets sucked into the portal, the way he lands in the... I don't think that's
was a
the
Delta?
classic.
Yeah, that's the Delta.
Is it?
Yeah, the Delta's in every single movie Sam's ever done, man.
I swear to God, that was a Caprice that he had.
This is the funny thing. Bruce actually said in one of the Comic-Con panels that he's like, the funny thing is, he's like, for back in the day, we did it in the 70s, and then we did it again in the 80s. We did it again in the 90s, and it's like back then when you opened the door, there was just that light hum. It's just that... He's like, so when I'm going in and doing these movies, I got to hear that when I'm opening that door. And he's like, we get to talking to people about beefing up the Delta, blah blah blah. And I'm like thinking, beefing it up? What do you mean? You know? And he talks about how it gets to the point where he has to do the car. You know, one of the scenes with the car, and he opens it up, and it's like, and he's like, oh my God, it's the same fucking car. He's like, you're putting me in the same car. When am I gonna stop this hell? Basically, yeah.
I like how they aged it well too, because when they're getting chased by the mist or the cloud or whatever, he hits that nitrous bottle and the car's dying. Like, whoa, hold on, I'm not ready for this.
I appreciated that they had to give it some kind of, like, she's 30 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
That car ain't going that damn fast. And sure enough, he hits that nitrous bottle.
He's like, 2 more months and I'll own her.
Like he went out and bought one. Like, he's like, yes, finally found it.
Yeah. No, it was well done. I love the fact that they brought the Delta back. I'm sure we're gonna see it all souped up. I'm sure Ash is gonna beef it up like he did in Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
I'm really waiting for them to tie in Army of Darkness. Like,
that might happen next season, really.
It may, but I wonder again, if it's a whole new universe, you know what I mean? Where instead of going back in time, he didn't. He stayed there.
What if he finds a way to harness the Army of Darkness and use it against Ruby?
That's what I was thinking, because if they're talking about all these damn sinkholes coming up, I mean, there you go.
That'd be hard because he actually gave it to her. It's in her possession now. Like, she owns the book now. Like, it floats to her. She can go like this and...
Yeah, but he's still that chosen one that started all this.
That's true.
There's something about Ash.
Right.
Ash has some kind of power, and he just doesn't know how to use it.
It's the power of the Hefe.
Or he doesn't even know. Power of the Hefe. I love that.
Maybe
El Jefe.
Pablo could help him, because Pablo is a Bruja now.
Yeah.
He's the new Bruja. Maybe he can finish El Jefe's journey.
Maybe.
Here, Alan, take a hit out of this shotgun. You know you want it.
That was an awesome scene.
I know.
Smoking weed out of the shotgun.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool. I thought that was awesome. She's like, hey, don't be a square. Smoke this. You know what I mean? Puts a fucking shotgun shell in it. Man, I'm sorry, like, I love Pablo, but I really wanted him to die just to see that scene just complete. You know what I mean? I thought that'd have been rad.
That might be cashed out, brother.
He knew not. He was like, I don't know. I don't know. Conflicted the whole time. Come on, you know you want to. One won't hurt. One won't hurt. Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will.
All right, I think it's time to get to our second list.
Here's where I want to take over, because I got way more than 3.
Absolutely. We'll just let you go on your rant, man. What we originally did was top 3 Ash Williams quotes, which, as we said before, Bruce Campbell, king of the one-liners. So go ahead, take it away on your Bruce Campbell rant.
Well, I love it because, and I did the research of it just to make sure I was still right, because I learned this very, very young on when I was big into video games and very tormented and demented by Grand Theft Auto and Duke Nukem and shit. That's where they modeled that character from, was all of his one-liners throughout Duke Nukem he got from Evil Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Most of them from Ash. Yeah. And it's just weird being...
Also, there's one actually specifically from Rowdy Piper's They Live. Where he says, I'm going to chew ass... Or chew ass. I'm gonna chew ass and kick bubble gum. I'm gonna chew bubble gum. I'm gonna kick ass and chew bubble gum and roll out of gum. That's actually like directly from
because you guys added me. I'm more of the comedic sense to it. It's it was him doing that one. Hail to the king, baby. I was like, really? I'm 27 years old now, and I've played Duke Nukem. You know, I've played the newest one that they have. It's like, hail to the king. Really?
Yep.
That's got to be where he's getting that from. And then same with Groovy. Yep. The way he says that. I was like, oh yeah. You still think to say that?
That's 87 Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Groovy.
Groovy. Oh, well, I also like how they added it to the remake, Evil Dead. Like you said, there was that one scene or whatever. I'm periscoping right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. Because I wanted to catch this. This is great.
Duke Nukem is kind of like a carbon copy of Ash Williams, really.
Yeah. He basically is. I mean, he's a more futuristic version. But yeah. Anyways, are there any other quotes you have?
I'll skip a couple of them because now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of dumb. But
She waved with her hand.
wife came in to get the smoke.
Random wife cameo.
Need this. But there's quite a few good ones from episode 2 from Ash vs. Evil Dead. It was as soon as he gets talked into staying and not killing Kelly's mom.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, "Hi, you used to be dead, right?" Like, really? You're gonna say hi to somebody that way?
Just that whole scene, the way he just treats
Yeah,
them
the whole
like
time.
shit.
And then all of a sudden he just fucking hits her, and they're like,
yeah.
"What the hell are you doing to my mom?"
Like most people would go, "Oh my god!" Like Kelly just rolls her eyes, like, "Ash, why did you punch my mother?"
Yeah.
that whole the whole relationship there was weird.
But my more favorite one, because I've heard this only as like the real adolescent point, was talking about episode 2 of Ash vs. Evil Dead. Before they go in to have dinner and everything like that, he's talking to Pablo. He goes, "Hey, I was like you once before, young, dumb, full of conflicting emotions." Young, dumb, full of cum. It's like, I'm just trying to impress her. Her mom's not dead. Come on, I can get this. Let's go. There's that.
Trying to be bros.
Oh, and then because I got to give the shout out to the fuck the police thing. It was right after they went through fighting the demon in the bookstore, episode 3. It's like, what? Okay, so the cop lied to me. He goes, "Yes, we learned a valuable lesson today, didn't we, children? Cops do not help." I love that.
Nice. Okay. All right. Do you want to go this way this time?
We can?
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So my number 3 was during the Michigan militia episode, and it was when he cut off a part of Lem. He says, "Look on the bright side, Lem. You won't miss it." He's a deadite.
Right.
And then my number 2 was brought up by you earlier, and it was the "Hey Bruja, thanks for the opinion. Appreciate it. Now you could take that, turn it sideways, and shove it right up the old poop chute."
Yep.
I love that.
I love that one.
Yeah. The one-liners, like they said in the panel, they're like, if you love Ash for his one-liners, they're coming, and like they really did. They brought them, man. They really brought just the fucking heat full of one-liners.
But I'm pretty sure my favorite one was the other first thing I have to do is cardio because my heart's jackhammering like a quarterback on prom night.
Yeah, that was, I believe that was episode 1. Yeah, that was
prom night. I
hilarious.
love that.
Yeah, that was pretty damn good. Nice list. I like it. I like that it seems like our lists are going to be all basically different this time.
All right. Well, see, my 3 all come from Army of Darkness.
Yeah, I have mine are primarily movies as well.
My first one is right after he gets out of the well, and everybody's kind of standing around him, and he lets the other king go. I forget his name.
Arthur. Henry the Red.
Yeah, Henry the Red.
Yes.
And he lets him go, and he turns around. And he's like, "All right, listen up, you primitive screwheads." Like, I love that. Just
the whole rant. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my boomstick.
Yep, I had that actually on my list, but
My number 2 is actually when it's actually at the very end of the movie, near the end of the movie. But he's holding the lady, and she's a deadite, and he's holding her. They're on top of the castle there, and she's like, "You found me beautiful once," and he goes, "Honey, you got real ugly."
yeah, I love that. I love that.
And then
That's classic.
What's funny is I misinterpreted the top 3 list because my number 1 is actually not even an Ash quote.
No.
No, it's just something you hear in the movie, and it's fucking hilarious.
Well, go ahead and say it.
Yeah,
It's
let's
fine.
hear it.
It's as the army of darkness is being rose out of the ground, and one of the skeletons reaches down and grabs another one. And goes, "Welcome back to the
land of the living.
Now
Now pick
grab
up
a
a shovel
shovel
and
and
get
get
digging.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good.
I love that.
That and I love the skeletons in that movie because they're
Yeah.
so funny. Like
Yeah.
like at the
And
end.
every culture's represented, even
Yeah.
cultures that aren't even around
Yeah,
yet.
there's there's Irish people there and
there's,
shit.
there's Civil War skeletons
Yeah.
marching on the castle.
I love when they're all retreating and that one they just show one skeleton. He's like, "Let's get the hell out of here!" He starts running. Yeah, that was good. All right, that's acceptable, man. It's all good. We tend to misinterpret because we smoke, we swear. We're so sorry. We're not sorry. Anyways, I'll go get to my top 3 Ash quotes. My third one is from Ash vs. Evil Dead, and this is after he blows the head off of the police chief or whatever that she brings into the diner.
Okay.
Yeah.
And his tongue's hanging out, and he walks up he overshadows the guy, so his like head's replacing where his tongue, and he just looks at me and he goes, "I told you, I kill killers." And then he drops. It's classic. It's just really good timing right there, basically. That's the only one from the show that I have. The other 2 are Army of Darkness quotes, because that's just my absolute favorite one of the franchise, as I said. My second one is Klaatu Verata.
I love that.
That whole scene, he just kind of looks
He's just
around.
like, fuck, I forgot the word.
He looks around and he's like, "Okay then, guess I'll be going." Grabs an Necronomicon. Like that was just total 90s comedy cheese.
Yeah. And classic Ash.
Yeah,
He's like,
absolutely.
shit, I forgot. Well, I'll still make do.
Well, I mean, I didn't say all your damn words with every syllable. No.
That's every syllable.
But I got them out.
I got them mostly,
I got
right?
most.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I love that scene. That's probably one of my favorite scenes in Army of Darkness. Just because he fucks himself every time, but he usually ends up correcting it. You know what I mean? And then of course one of the most iconic, which is my number 1, is "Hail to the King, baby," which is probably obviously that's the best way to end that Army of Darkness movie.
Yeah.
It was really good, and honestly probably that between that and the Klaatu Verata Nikto flub. I think those are probably the most famous Army of Darkness quotes. But yeah, that's my top 3. But anyways, that's basically our discussion on Ash versus the Evil Dead. We're gonna get to something different real quick, a little mini segment, if you will, called "Shit Alan's Playing." Take it away, Alan.
Well, I don't know. As you guys know, or you don't know, because this is literally the first time we met, Chris. As you guys know, I've got quite the gaming computer. And I get bored sitting in my mother's basement and eating Funyuns and drinking Mountain Dew, and I download scads of games. So, I don't really do any of those things except for the gaming part. I hate Funyuns and I can't drink Mountain Dew.
Don't lie to us.
And you don't commit, piracy.
No, I don't commit piracy.
That's wrong.
I buy all of this, or I beg for it on Reddit.
Please.
Do you know there's whole subreddits dedicated to gifting people games?
Really?
There are indeed whole subreddits.
Here's how.
You can get Xbox 360 codes, PS3 codes, PS4 codes, Xbox One codes, PC game codes.
I have to interject right there with that because I have something similar to it of how pathetic I am and how I've been out of the game for a while. Mm-hmm. For some fucking reason, and my daughter, she loves Pikachu.
Oh boy.
Pokemon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I remember when I was younger, my mom bought me the Pikachu fucking Game Boy Color with the yellow game.
Yep.
So,
Pokemon Yellow.
I'm a 27-year-old man trying to find a Game Boy Color for sale on Craigslist because for some fucking reason I have an urge to play this goddamn game. So, we end up finding one for $15. It's actually a Game Boy like Advanced or something like that, but it still plays old games.
Yep. That's actually what
So I get home, make a post on Facebook to anyone that still collects video games. I really need Pokemon Yellow. Don't ask me why. Somebody sends me a link. Oh, just get an emulator. It's like, holy shit, I'm retarded. I just wasted money because I forgot being a teenager. Like, I had emulators of everything when I was a teenager.
Don't feel bad. I'm a PC gamer on the regular, and I just was retarded. I was going to offer you my copy of Red. I have Pokemon Red, and I was just like, well, it's the same thing, just Pikachu doesn't follow you around.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, so anyway, as you guys know, I've amassed quite the collection. And, so this week I've been playing Fallout 4.
Fallout 4, huh?
Fallout 4.
I heard it was really good.
It is.
It's kind of a disappointment. On the slide.
It's kind of a disappointment compared to Fallout 3 anyways?
It's actually a major fucking letdown compared to Fallout 3.
Really?
Yeah, personally to me, I know you love the game.
I know I knew there's a lot of hype for Fallout 4.
The hype train was strong with this one.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember how great Skyrim was?
Yeah, I've never gotten into those games.
I played Skyrim. I've only dabbled though. I've actually never finished the game.
But you got to at least experience dialogue and some combat.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Take that dialogue where like you're kind of interpreting what your character is saying just by the responses that these people are giving.
Yeah.
Throw that out the window. Your character is completely voice acted now.
Wow.
And they've taken the dialogue options and pretty much told you this is what you guys are gonna say. And they've gotten rid of the whole sarcasm, evil shit. Really. You're either like, all right, I'm gonna be a goody two shoes guy, or I'm really angry, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Right. You're either Obi-Wan or Anakin, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only major choice that happens in that game that can make you evil in any way is either you side with one of the three factions. Really. That's all there is to it. General conversation, you're not allowed to be really a dick. There's a sarcastic choice, but it doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect you in any way.
It affects how the companion feels about you, though.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect the game in any way. Who gives a fuck if Piper hates me? She's still gonna shoot her gun for me.
He's like, fuck it. Maybe not.
Exactly. You want it to be a little bit more real world type of thing.
I mean, I've looked into it a little bit. There's only like 3 companions that'll bail on you if you keep fucking up. And you only have to fuck up in the way that they see as a fuck up. And that's the courser that you get from the Institute, or the railway guy that you get from the railroad, or the Brotherhood of Steel guy. And that, again, falls back on the 3 factions. The game really, really fucking bugs me. And it's very pretty. I mean, they definitely turned the pretty factor way up on this game.
Right.
Yeah,
But
I've seen the gameplay.
They took a lot of the
crisp.
RPG elements out of it and made it more of an action-y first-person shooter.
Okay.
And it's I don't know. It was kind of a disappointment. And they really put a lot of stock into the whole building thing. Like, at one point, there's a mission, in order to progress any further in the game's main campaign, you have to go into construction mode and build some shit.
No shit.
Yeah. Even if you don't want to, you have to do this.
Or the game's basically over for you.
Yeah, all right.
you're
Well,
stuck.
now I have open world Boston, Massachusetts. I can walk around and fuck with shit. And that's what I've done. I've gotten to the point in the story where the big reveal happened, and I'm going, oh, all right. I'm just walking around playing. I'll just shoot flies.
I personally have put like 2.5 days in, and I still, this is like the time I've actually played in game. It's like 2.5 days. I have still not made it to Diamond City.
See, all right, keep that awe and wonder. You keep fiddle farting around the Commonwealth, having fun, doing what you do. Don't play the story.
I don't. That's not my thing. I've been more with the
So I'm
building.
just building up, yeah.
He doesn't like the building. I have this massive, like 4 or 5 story fucking giant fortress that's fortified.
You both remind me slightly, and I hate to do this comparison, but of like The Sims. certain people just get it because they want to build shit. They don't give
some
a
people
fuck
just
about
wanna watch
living a
what they're
life
on
and things like that.
Oh,
You're
the
just like,
Child Protection Agency always gets a hold of me every time. My kids end up in a room with no doors and a stove.
learn to cook, little buddy.
Oh, we can tell a lot by how you play Sims, sir.
You know, most of the time, I go on a grander scale, though. I play Sim City. Yeah, fuck all of that.
Right.
See that
Oh, what's
skyscraper?
that?
Fuck it.
Is that a grade school? You know, that
Not
field next
anymore.
door looks great for
Deconstruct.
nuclear power plant. Right next door to a fucking grade school. There you go.
Oh, look, the children are glowing now.
No, all right, quick diversion away
like
from
Chernobyl.
Fallout. Interesting thing, because I also have the new SimCity. I went out and bought SimCity 2013 for my computer. And, you know how they have the disasters in the game? Usually it was like a meteor storm or Godzilla would attack or there's an earthquake or something.
Right. Something to hint. Yeah.
I have a zombie apocalypse. I can unleash shit on my city. So I build up like this giant city. This is what I do
So
now.
you have to watch Walking Dead.
This-
and read
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
this is how fucked up
He
I
gets to
am.
create Walking Dead. Like, this is my Atlanta.
I build up cities, right? And I mean, I have like skyscrapers and casinos, and I've got like, tourism, and I'm making so much money, and I have no debt, right? My taxes are all low. I've got so much money. I have no debt. I've got like
like,
180,000
fuck this
people in
place.
this town, and then I just go right in the center of town, right by City Hall, and I'm like, zombie.
You should just throw weapons in random spots so people can just run around and pick it up.
I
Can
wish.
you do that with
No,
it?
you
Oh,
can't.
that'd be great.
Do they get to defend themselves?
Oh,
Just get to die.
and it's like a little green. It starts out as like one little green guy, and then there's like 10 little green guys, and then there's like 100 little green guys, and then essentially, or after like 5 minutes, like whole blocks are green, and then the half the city's green.
Alan, you're a cruel, cruel god.
I'd like to
Fuck
add.
them, they don't exist.
I'd like to add into your shit Alan plays and
Alright.
the shit I've been playing. Because I've been out of the video game world for a while now, and the key.
StarCraft, great game, man.
Yeah. Motherfucker, it was Pikachu, Game Boy,
Doom
Advance.
64. All right.
Fucking ain't right. You know, classics is Bomberman 64.
There you
actually.
go.
But,
Mortal Kombat Legacies, Sub-Zero.
oh yeah.
Get the fuck out of
But
here.
one that I've actually enjoyed, but like, I wouldn't call it a guilty pleasure because all the stories have always been really, really good to me.
If you tell me you play a Japanese dating sim, I'm
To
giving
me,
you
no. Is
picked up
the new
Catherine
Metal Gear,
yesterday.
Metal Gear 5.
Metal
Open
Gear.
world.
Phantom
Okay.
Pain.
Yep.
I have-
Open world. You can do anything. You can build up an army. Like, I mean, they make it so detailed
So, all right.
of how the big boss
I
became.
haven't played anything past 3, so.
Did the opening sequence of that game, the whole hospital part, did that fuck with you at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Holy crap, dude.
Dude, it was so fucking like they made it really scary. Like I was like, they've never done this shit before, and I like how they introduced Psycho Mantis because he's younger.
Is that? Yeah, sorry.
He's
Thank
younger.
you. I mean, you get
He has hair.
but
Sorry.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, you'd know right away.
Yeah, the mask.
Yeah, the mask gives it away. But oh my god.
What console is that for? PS.
PS.
Everything, really.
Yeah, pretty much everything. But we got a PS4. That was the only thing too. Like I was so against playing video games. Like,
Yeah, I know.
I'm an adult now. You know, I got other shit. I got a career I'm chasing. I got a full-time job. You know, I got a stepkid that just lives for like a monitor or screen in his face. And my wife comes home one day with a TV and a PS4. And, you've been really stressed out lately. You really need to relax. Career's not going the way you want it to. Just this can help you relax. You know, play for an hour or two, which is true. Like I set myself because I'm being an adult about it. I set myself like limits to play.
Don't play. Hey, here's my
I'll just
advice.
make it past this one mission. That's it.
Let me give you some
It's
advice.
really good.
Don't play Call of Duty.
Oh no.
Like you're just
No.
like motherfucker.
Oh, I know how I am in
the
Call of Duty. I'm the campaign guy. I don't play online. I suck online.
I'm
just
alright
wanna-
online, but I turn to the Hulk.
I just want to say to Chris's wife, you are a great woman for getting him a TV and a PlayStation 4.
That's
She's all right.
That's
Yeah,
that's
she's
rare.
good. She's good. But yeah, I love it. You can build up your army because your whole
The
key.
base.
Yeah, your whole key thing is the people that came after you in the Awakening. You're building up your army to go against them.
Okay.
That's what it's for. And it's even cool too. You see where the big shell from Metal Gear 2 originated from because you have a base out in the ocean. If your army gets too big, you gotta build bigger units and platforms and things like that. So it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And just like in any like military, you have like an intel group for you. You have an R&D team. You have this. Like there is no more finding guns anymore. Your R&D team has to develop it, design it, and then you get it. Same with like the platforms and the intel and stuff like that. It's really, really detailed, really cool.
That's awesome.
Another one I've been playing, and this is kind of like the dorky one of the segment. Sonic Generations.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be flat out honest here. I hate everything post Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast. Like, they're all garbage.
Agreed.
I go all the way back to the original Sega Genesis.
Like,
That Sonic game was awesome.
became a whore. Yeah. And it was really bad.
Well, Sega was in a bad place.
Oh, yeah.
Sega was in a terrible place back then. Well, yeah, hopefully they'll pick that back up, because the first one they came out with for PlayStation 3, the first Sonic game they came. Oh, I have that game. Oh my god, it's terrible.
If you ever get a chance, man, check out Generations.
I heard Generations was really
I actually
good.
know exactly which one you're talking about.
I have it upstairs.
Generations.
But never will play it again.
Generations changed my life in a way I never thought possible, and it has nothing to do with video games. I had an ex-girlfriend I had down in Virginia, and I had a PS4. She always wanted to play a game because she was always there before I got out of work. I walk in one day, she's playing her game. She's like, "Hey, babe," into her game. First thing she fucking does when she like tunes back into it, jumps in a hole and dies. And she goes, "Motherfucking cunt!" I was like, I heard a woman say cunt. This is amazing. Thank you, video games.
Video games, you rule.
Yeah.
So, Generations combined both old school 90s Sonic and new school Sonic. And
Oh, no shit.
and they brought levels back from like the Genesis days, and they made them all pretty in HD and 3D kinda. And you have to play through Act 1 as classic chubby light blue Sonic, who didn't talk and was still innocent and awesome. Our childhood.
Right.
And then you have to play through Act 2 as Sonic.
Sonic.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog.
And
Oh yeah.
and then you get to go through the whole the first boss fight you do, for God's sakes, is the giant death egg robot from Sonic 2.
That's awesome.
That's the boss fight that you do, and it's all 3D and HD. It's huge. So
That's awesome.
Now we're getting into the real nerdy, geeky part of it.
Is there anything that you've been playing, Randy?
Well, I just traded out, just swapped, not actually traded, So I just have their game and they have mine, but I let someone borrow my Halo 4 so that I could play Halo 5 Guardians.
Okay.
And
do you have Halo 5?
I do right now, but it's because I'm borrowing it. I don't actually have it. It's installed, but now I need a disc.
You may be in luck. I might have.
I don't think Alan's moaning and groaning over there and growling. I don't think he's a fan of Halo.
Oh, don't misconstrue I hate Halo. I love Halo. Halo 5 is cancer.
Actually, it looks amazing.
Halo 5 is cancer.
It looks amazing, and I'm towards the end of the first level, and I'm on Legendary. I started off, I've seen some of it online, like the cutscenes, but I haven't actually seen any real play. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going into this on Legendary, because that's just what I wanted to do.
There you go.
And there's new objective things, like little, kind of like recordings you find that are on Covenant when you kill them, and they're like messages, like weird little things they're talking about, just stupid random shit.
Right.
And
You get to go to the Elite Homeworld, St. Helios.
Really?
Yeah, you do. That's actually later on.
Oh, that's really
And it's
cool.
it's all feudal Japan themed.
bring
cool.
back-
That's their culture. Is
That's
feudal
dope.
Japan.
That's dope.
They have the
I'm
Arbiter.
interested to see that.
But that's about
They have,
it.
yeah. The Arbiter's there. The Arbiter is there. I've seen a cutscene with that.
I lost
I know
interest
it
at Halo
happens.
4, honestly. I
Well,
loved Halo 3. I hated Halo 2. I loved the storyline for Halo 2. I hated playing Halo 2. That's when I first started playing Halo. And when you play Halo monsters, like, and I'm referring to other people that are really fucking good that they're trying to get you into Halo. They don't let up no matter what. You either you get into it or you're dead every time.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's how I jumped into Halo. So I hated Halo 2, but I got the hang of Halo 3 with a few other friends that weren't so ruthless. finally got my footing. In Halo 3, I used to do really well in. And then Halo 4 basically felt like...
Cancer.
No, Halo 4 felt like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare before it ever came out.
Are you talking about the online feature then? Okay. See, yeah,
Yes, I am.
campaign-wise...
Halo 4 was cancer.
Yeah.
I didn't even play Halo 4 storyline. So
It was...
I can't give it a proper judgment because I did not play the storyline.
What kind of a final boss battle is an action sequence?
That's the only problem I fucking had with it. All the other ones.
Is that your only argument, Alan? It's the only one I need, Randy.
1, 2, and 3. Boss battles. Epic. You actually had to battle. You had to fight, and they made it fucking hard.
Yeah.
This was like an action button, like button mash sequence as it pops up. Real easy to take out the boss. That kind of did piss me
Kind of
off.
reminds me of like Resident Evil 4, where it's like, oh, he's about to grab you. Hit these buttons and dodge. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4 got a little weird. I enjoyed...
To be honest with you, I think it's one of the more better games ever made.
Yeah,
That's why I got the Evil Within.
I think I like the way they reinvented the controls because honestly... I played a lot of the other side games and they weren't that great. Like Code Veronica X was probably the only one I enjoyed aside from the main storyline.
Code Veronica X was the last of the tank controls.
Yeah, exactly. and like when they got into 4, I was like, okay, I can get into this shit. But yeah.
5.
He's praising Jesus.
I haven't played 5 yet. I'm on 4 right now. And I'm holding off to play 5 until I finish 4 or 5. I have to start over though, unfortunately.
I've played and beat all of them except for the original. I saw somebody else play pretty much from beginning to end and beat it.
It's a good game.
Which I'm actually even more excited that they're bringing in the Origins Chronicle.
Yeah.
Because that's 0 and number 1
put together.
Oh,
that's awesome.
So now you know
Alpha and the Bravo team.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that only came out for GameCube.
Yeah,
Resident Evil 0. So I never got to play it. I knew it was
what a complete fuck up Alpha team is.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I heard 0 was good though.
Zero's good, but
it looks even better now that they redid it for PS4. Like all the new major
it'll
platforms.
be interesting to see both the Alpha and the Bravo team go into the Spencer Mansion. I think.
Exactly, because then you have a before. And
it's
now
almost like one big production,
after.
almost basically.
Have you ever played Zero?
No, I haven't.
So you don't know the story?
No, I know it's about Rebecca Chambers and her team.
Yeah, Alpha team, they're fucking dumb. I don't know why they didn't send in Bravo originally. Because Wesker and Chris and Barry and Joe could have got that done.
You got to think Wesker was in the shadows the whole time.
Yeah, Wesker was a part of it.
It was probably their idea, their plan to put them first to get them slaughtered. Then you had to call them Bravo team, basically.
Wesker.
Albert Wesker. Everybody thinks he's gonna return. What do you guys think?
Are we talking movie or game?
I think him and
he's still in the movies.
Yeah.
I don't consider those movies canon at all.
Those
movies are terrible. Movies are terrible.
6 is in production as we speak.
Yeah, 5 should have never been made.
I'm gonna be that guy right now,
4,
and I'm just gonna say, Chris Redfield and Albert Wesker are totally a thing.
Totally a thing.
They're bromance.
They're obsessed with each other.
Have you ever played Resident Evil 5?
Oh
no,
man,
That is a battle of the biceps. That's what that is.
Yeah, I'm basically waiting. Is it weird
How
that
does Chris wipe his ass?
yeah, his arms out reach.
Did you guys notice that like when they did from like Resident Evil 4 to Resident Evil 5? Did you notice that it looked like a more Gears of War style game?
Yeah.
Like the game, the look of it itself.
Yeah.
It like Chris looked more like Gears of War Chris. Like he was never that buff back in the day.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Made him bigger.
Yeah, I've seen some of 5. I've seen some people play 5, but I've never played it myself. I've been waiting to beat 5.
I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was all that bad.
The acting in it is fucked.
Okay. So you said you're playing Halo 5 currently to get back to what you were talking about?
Yes.
Kind of went off topic there.
It's
Big
kind of
time.
interesting if you watch.
Jump to Resident Evil.
If you played 4, there's the
Choose your words
Guardians.
carefully because he's giving you the death stare.
I know, he's just mad that Cortana turns evil, and Sean's the same way.
Oh, spoiler!
I'm not mad about that. I'm
man.
mad about the complete. You know what? Keep going.
You said the
You haven't
cancer that
even
is
played
Halo
5. You have not played 5.
I don't have to play
Look at this
5. I
face.
watched a complete playthrough.
Look at this face.
Oh.
I'm glad we are fucking live on the camera just to see Alan over here like.
It's Well, as I said, I'm still in the first level, but it's interesting because it's like the Guardians and the Covenant are fighting each other, and you're just kind of there in between, looking
like
for
stuck
someone.
stuck in the middle with you.
You know who you don't play as that often in that game?
Who's that?
Master Chief.
Oh, yeah, I figured.
It goes between.
You play as not Carter.
No, it jumps around
That
between
reminds me of,
teams because you actually play as the guy from ODST, Buck. He's
really?
Yeah,
the
Buck's a
survivor.
Spartan now.
He's a Spartan 4
That's
with
pretty cool.
Locke. And the first Spartan you play
I didn't
as
mind
in
ODST
level
that
1
much.
is
It wasn't
Buck.
bad.
ODST was fun.
For what it was okay.
I've
It's
never.
better than Halo Wars.
I had the problem, and Bungie was so good to remind you that you're not a Spartan anymore. You can die.
All right. You are able to pass away.
Yeah, I remember ODST. I walked into a courtyard once, and there were 2 hunters, and I was like, I got this. Pop, pop, pop. That hunter was like,
That's
done.
funny.
I'm just like shit.
All right.
I've actually never played them.
Anyway, Halo 5.
Never.
Was that all you had for Halo 5?
It is interesting. It's good. The graphics are great. I don't know what's this guy's problem.
That's for another discussion.
All right. Currently I am playing the Deadpool game for PlayStation 3.
You still getting
Nice.
that?
Oh yeah, I am, and it is fucking awesome. I recommend. I know you especially would love that game. It is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like just the personality of Deadpool. He breaks the fourth wall, so
And I
he
have to
knows he's
say,
in the game.
yes, and I have to say, as far as the movie goes, like Ryan Reynolds went back to the reason why I fell in love with him as an actor, like Van Wilder.
Yeah, exactly.
So fucking hilarious, but with conviction.
Yes.
Like, have you seen his new video for Deadpool as like, hey, check your balls for cancer?
Yeah,
Oh my
saw
god,
that.
I love
Yeah,
that
yeah,
shit.
That was hilarious.
He's really embracing this character.
Their
and he loves
marketing,
it.
their marketing people are fucking geniuses.
Oh, yeah.
because
He's
all the
fucking in
advertisements.
charge of it. Somebody tweeted him the other day with that picture that somebody posted in the nerd group of the
Green Lantern?
The
Green Lantern.
And they asked him,
comparison.
"Did you do that?" And he was like, "Yeah."
That's awesome.
All of these fucking photoshops of Deadpool popping into movies are the marketing team like,
Right? Like he's everywhere. You can't stop
Deadpool
us.
is Green Lantern.
That's funny.
Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, I really enjoy what I've played so far of Deadpool.
I'll have to check it out.
It's really fun.
My stepson, unfortunately, he's grounded off video games, but he would really get a kick out of like
Did
watching
you
me
make the
play it.
Sentinel jerk off yet?
That shit
Oh
was
my god, now I have to play it. If you can make people jerk off, I'm so doing
You
it.
make a Sentinel jerk
A
off.
Sentinel?
Yeah, from
Yeah.
X-Men.
Oh my god. Yes.
You make this assistant arm, but it's like,
Also, that Deadpool picture.
It's great.
I did post that.
That was you?
next to Green Lantern. Yeah, he's got the ring pop on. I love it. I was laughing my ass off.
that's their marketing team sneaking all this shit out to like Reddit and Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr.
Oh, they're
and-
brilliant. They're
I
brilliant
also
at it.
posted
It's
the other
awesome.
one, which I hope to God is true, and it'd be the cameo with Stan Lee in it, and it's them
Stanley
pointing
has a
guns
gun
at
pointed at Deadpool.
and go.
I haven't gotten to that point yet. I don't think.
Well, Deadpool also has no. This is like the live. It looks like it's going to be
It's in the movie.
scene out of the
It's-
movie.
Yeah,
really?
I've seen
It's
it over.
Yeah.
You're fucking
But
kidding.
Stanley has a
Because
gun
I love how
pointed
they
at Deadpool.
always. I love how any movie that Stanley's ever like helped or directed or even consulted in, he always has a cameo in. I love that.
They both have guns pointed at each other, though.
That's brilliant.
This looks more like a rubber chicken, but yeah.
It might be.
Do
I
you
don't
guys,
know.
do you guys want your minds blown?
Close.
You want your nerdy minds blown?
Sure.
What if Stan Lee reveals himself to be the Watcher, and that's why he's in every Marvel movie ever?
Oh, that'd be.
That'd be funny.
That would be interesting. I think it'd work. I think because I
So-
believe the Watcher can take other form. I think he can like turn into other people and shit like that to camouflage himself.
Interesting.
Sad news about Stan Lee. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he recently tweeted that his eyesight has gotten so bad he can't read.
Yeah,
comic-
yeah. He
can't
actually
read
have to
anymore.
have they actually
Oh,
have
no.
sessions basically like sit downs with Stan Lee where they basically write down what he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically ghostwriting comics now.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean he's up there in age, so I mean
Yeah, and I was gonna ask that. Like, do you guys, other than like Stan Lee, I can think of like a few other people off the top of my head. Like, they're so brilliant and they're so involved that as soon as they pass away, like the whole world's gonna go in like pandemonium. It's like, oh my god, we lost them.
Aside from Stan Lee, the only person that comes to mind to me is Hugh Hefner.
True.
Because
I'll give him that. He's been around forever.
Yeah, he's been around forever. He's the name and face of a really huge franchise like that. He's basically the Stan Lee of dirty magazines.
He's so fucking boss. He's selling his house, but he ain't got to move out.
I love that part.
Yeah,
I love that part.
Beautiful.
He's like, he's selling his house, but he still gets to live there.
I've experienced a moment like that though, where there's somebody really big that you know of, and then they pass, and then you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, it hits you.
That's real.
Yeah, that's
that was the death of George Carlin.
Yeah.
When
I gotta give you that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
George Carlin is, in my opinion, the best comedian of all time.
George Carlin is who I evolved from. I mean, now we're getting into the comedy aspect, so this is right up my alley. But 14 years old, walk downstairs, my stepdad's watching Jamming in New York. First time I ever got exposed to stand-up comedy. I didn't understand half the shit he's talking about because he's so intelligent the way he went about things. But I was done for.
He took
interviews of him,
so
and things like that.
In something unfunny like suicide.
Yeah, he made suicide funny.
He made an entire stand-up special about suicide.
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
The best thing about George Carlin was that he could actually not only tell you the blatant, sad, depressing truth, but he can make it funny. Yeah. And he crosses the line, but it's not that line to the point where people are like, well, fuck that guy. It's
he crosses the line in a reporting sense.
Exactly.
Like, hey, this is actually happening.
Yeah, you guys need to be aware.
And that's what I love about his writing too, because he said he basically just written off the species, how he views things in the world, the way he thinks things should be. He's given up hope on that with the way this species is. But his classic quote is, when you're born, you're given a ticket to the freak show. When you're born in America, you get a front row seat. And he goes, and there's some people like me that just give up on everything. And we get to sit back and just watch the freak show and write down what we see. It's like, oh my God, did you see what they just fucking did? He goes, and then I report it back to him. He goes, that's why when I do the comedy and everything like that, I always report it as like, you. I'm always saying you. You motherfuckers did this. I don't have shit to do with it. I'm out of it. I gave up on this game.
Yeah.
And he's just like, can you believe that you people actually do shit like this? Like, yes, all you do is live to have this phone that can make pancakes and scratch your balls while you're doing this and doing that. And it's like, you did this shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, you guys are the one that worship this imaginary friend in the sky, so you say all these weird fucking things because of it.
As Carlin refers to him, the man in the clouds.
Yeah, the man in the clouds. I love that.
That's why I believe in Joe Pesci.
I love that. I love that. He goes,
rest in peace, George Carlin. We miss you so fucking much.
Another
you are the one man that fucking told the truth and said it. Told us like it was, man.
Another moment. Well, the day I found out George passed, the day
I actually cried.
Yeah, the day they broke
it was so upsetting.
I went and watched his parental advisory special, the one where he opens up.
Oh, that was another thing too. So many people, every late night talk show, and even what was it, Larry King? The whole fucking thing was about him. It wasn't an idol that we all respected and loved. George Carlin passed away. No, every fucking thing. HBO, right away, they scrapped their whole fucking schedule.
And they played all of his
specials. They were just straight up. Now that is a person that he changed the game. That's why.
Exactly.
That's why.
It's not like, oh, this person died today. It's no, a fucking legend died today. And you
another one, and the same thing happened. The same pomp and circumstance, and it was owed. Was the day Robin Williams passed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was another one.
It never went away. Yeah. Never went away. They were talking about it for days on end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because he deserved it.
And that was a lot more unfortunate, too, given the circumstances of how he died.
Well, and I think that's why it held up a little bit more steam, too. Not to take anything away from Robin Williams as a person, because he was a beautiful person. He was so nice and sweet to anybody. Yeah. Always caring and everything like that. But it goes down to the classic thing. And it shed more light on it. That's how bad depression is. Yeah. That's how bad it makes people feel.
Exactly. It's not just a high school middle school teen thing. It can come up.
He's got all the money in the world. He's beloved by millions, and
he had a daughter named Zelda.
I mean, what better life, you know?
Right.
Exactly.
But he was just still that kid that didn't feel loved.
And rest in peace, Robin Williams. You will also be missed. His comedy was absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
too.
His comedy was funny. Just his voice acting, his
live on
everything
Broadway,
he would do. Yep, I love that.
That was my absolute favorite Robin Williams special, and he did so well in that. That was the side of Robin.
And he wasn't
Williams
shy to talk about any or everything, and he had like a goofy sense to it. Like when he used to pick on George Bush, and then he used to pick on Reagan back when he did the Met one.
Yeah, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson, his kids. I mean, himself when he had like his heart surgery and shit like that with the the gorilla. Yeah, the gorilla. I love that. And he reaches out and grabs both my nipples. And I tell you, when an 800-pound gorilla's got you by the tits, you listen. I love that.
Yep.
You have my attention.
Yeah. That's a good one.
So, with that, I totally dread the day that, we hear about names like Stan Lee passing away.
Yeah.
And Hugh Hefner. I personally, I don't subscribe to Playboy magazine.
No, but just the role,
recognized game, you know.
Yeah, the role that he played in the turning of the century, back then when censorship was so big. Same with George Carlin was hey,
exactly.
This isn't bad.
Absolutely.
It's just I'm proving to you that this can be fun and educational, even in that sense. That's all George Carlin was doing. It's these words aren't bad. It's the way we treat them.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, another one that I kind of dread is Mel Brooks. Because he's still alive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just lost Abe Vigoda. There was a lot of speculation on his death, a lot of hoaxes from fucking the 80s till now, basically. Mm-hmm. So, he finally passed away at 94 years old.
And
rest in peace, Abe.
and it's strange because Mel Brooks is in the media again because he just announced he's making Spaceballs 2.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I've been seeing shit going on.
That's exciting news. I did not know that.
Yeah,
I would love if he got the original cast. Well, obviously minus the
John Candy.
The unfortunates that were deceased.
Yeah.
Which is terrible.
Yeah, I hate that. That's where Sam Kinison comes into play too. As far as he was such a fucking rock star, and he died in a car accident.
Chris
I believe
Farley.
it was. Yep, Chris Farley. Of course, that shows shed as light. People always made it about the drugs. It wasn't about the drugs. It was about the depression and weight and things like that. Not taking care of yourself.
Did you guys watch the Chris Farley movie that just came out?
No, I didn't. I heard it was good.
I've
seen a clip of it, but I've heard from a few people that it's quite
well, I mean, I'm in the comedy.
It's not what you think it's gonna be.
I'm in the comedy world in circles, so and I heard a lot of great things by a lot of well-respected comedians and things like that. So I still want to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. The one they did on Richard Pryor, probably 5-6 years back.
Oh, that was good.
That was really well
done.
And
the thing that I've been waiting for, and I don't think I've seen anything truly stand out, because what is the George Carlin thing? He did win the Mark Twain Award posthumously, and it was a great event and show, but nothing that really just stood out where it was just all about him. It was about people's interactions with him. Dennis Leary shared a story about how he had met him and things like that. It's we don't want that. I wanted something more like the Richard Pryor thing or the Bernie Mac thing that they did for him. It's just everything's all about him, how they thought of him and viewed him. Not I don't give a shit that you ran into him at a club and he kept bumming smokes from you. Right. I don't give a shit. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's very Carlin-esque. It's now mind you, every time I kept giving him a cigarette, there's a fucking cigarette machine right in the middle of us. So finally, I told George, hey, there's a cigarette machine right there. He goes, yeah, you should buy another pack. We're gonna need them.
How Dennis Leary of him.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got a little off topic on shit Alan's playing.
When we started talking about...
Well, you brought the comedian, so as soon as we started talking about joking.
And we appreciate.
Plus, I'm so educated with George Carlin.
Right, no, we appreciate you coming back for another episode, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would actually like to make a shout out and a recommendation too, because not sure if you guys already did this one, but anything to do with Spider-Man, I have to recommend a very good friend of mine. Plus, he's a local car salesman as well, but hot on the gaming comedy. He's actually closing out my show tonight that we have.
Okay.
Ricardo Winston. He's very well educated in a lot of the
That's
comic
good.
book world.
That's good. One of our other guests that we've had, Jimmy, we had him on the MCU the last episode we did. He's very privy to Spider-Man too. So he's definitely going to be here. That's basically the one person we know that's very knowledgeable in the Spider-Verse, I should say. So that'd be cool to have another person, another opinion. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I know eventually we'll be getting to that. I mean, I believe that's still an untitled movie coming out in like 2017. We're chatting a little bit about it in Civil War, obviously, when we discussed that. Because Spider-Man's going to be appearing in the Civil War movie. So
Yeah, they had him on set.
Yep. He looks good. They're going with like the teen Spider-Man, basically.
So Ultimate Spider-Man.
Kind of, yeah. I think possibly.
Edgy teen, awesome, cool Peter Parker.
Like I'm still in high school.
Now I'm a fucking dweeb.
I like dweeb Spider-Man, but anyways.
Oh yeah, original Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man was great.
Yeah. So, anyways, to end the shit Alan's playing.
Yeah.
Let's go with from 1 star to 5 stars. The game we're currently playing. What would you rank them? So, how about you with Fallout 4?
Fallout 4, man, I gotta give it a 3.
3 out of 5.
Because it's the FPS stuff is fun and the graphics are pretty. Okay. So I'll give it that.
All right. Randy, Halo 5.
Well, I'm not that far in, but it's amazing. I have 1080 and I have the Xbox One. It's a big old 55-inch TV. From what I've seen, cinematics are great. I mean, I'm running. It starts off, I'm falling down a cliff and you're jumping off from different rocks until you land, and there's like a big old Covenant ship just coming down and crushing a bunch of troops in front of you.
Hell yeah.
I think it gives it a 5.
Yeah, it's looking like a 5 to me.
I'd say like a 4 at this point.
And that's only to spite me.
That's only to piss Alan off.
I've played all of them when they first come out until this one, because I didn't have a 1 and I didn't have the means to do it, didn't have the money to. But now that I'm playing it, I don't know. It seems better than 4 already, because I really was disappointed with 4.
All right, 4 out of 5 then. All right, Chris, what about you with, was it Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm teetering. I'd give it like more like a 4. Kind of range, like a 4.5, because the one thing is like they made one of because the thing that makes Metal Gear is all like the long cutscenes and storyline and things like that. It's so amazing is it still has that, only now you have like an open world feel where you can just like, oh, I'll get back to the story whenever I feel like it. So that kind of gives me just a little bit, and it
gives you that creative.
Yeah, they finally did give in, and it's like, oh yeah, we made it open world. So there's kind of like that hesitation, like when I was first playing it at first, I was like, oh, this seems kind of dumb, you know. It's like you guys are trying to blend in too much with like the Fallout and Far Cry and things like that, but it sticks true to a story, and that's what I love about it. Is it holds so true to the story that you're big boss, you know, and also while you're in the coma, that's when you get cloned.
Right.
Because they didn't know if Big Boss was ever going to come out of his coma. 9 years later, here he is. Yeah. After he got attacked.
For sure.
Like, oh,
Quick thing about Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yep.
That game is so fucking crazy. You can take out Jeeps with horse shit.
Yep.
There's a video online of some guy riding his horse. He stops on a track.
Because it's slippery.
The horse takes a dump, right? And then he hauls ass off the trail with the horse, and he goes on top of this cliff, and he's sitting there with a sniper rifle, and you see this Jeep coming down the trail. It hits the horse shit, spins, rolls, and the Jeep rolls over the people inside the vehicle and kills them. And I'm just like, what? The fuck did I just see?
It almost makes you want to go out on the country road and be like, I wonder if this will actually happen.
I'm actively avoiding horse shit from now on.
Just in case.
GTA, motherfucker.
Just in case.
Did we manage to do 2 hours?
Yes,
we did. Yes, we did.
We're at 1 minute 57. Or 1 hour and 57 minutes.
We are close. We are very close. All right, so quickly. So you're kind of on 4.5.
Yeah. It's a great game. I don't really have any complaints about it.
I'm gonna have to go with 5 stars, man, for Deadpool. It is
now
so
I have
fun.
to check it out.
It is so fun. Like, it's not just the action; it's the dialogue. The weapon upgrades you get.
On the PS3.
I would say on a rating of like a I don't know. I still think Duke Nukem is a classic with all of his one-liners and things like that. Would you rate it up?
He has all types of different lines in this.
Oh, that's
like
good. That's good.
The cutscenes.
Duke Nukem, I mean, it was back in the day.
Well,
you could only repeat.
With Duke Nukem, the cutscenes are a little more serious. With this, it's just comedy the whole time.
Yeah. Even if it needs to be serious.
That's why I really think that you would enjoy it, because I mean, the comedy just
when Half Moon pulls the budget on the game.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, and you're playing like fucking 8-bit style shit. That's so crazy.
At one point, the developer of the game inside the game pulls funding for the game, and so all of the graphics just go down to like Nintendo level.
That is brilliant.
He gets pissed and he calls them. He's like,
what the fuck happened?
He's like, I got a bullet with your name on it, bro. Basically, and all of a sudden he opens the door and it's all nice and crisp again.
Yeah, that's what I thought, bitch.
It's great.
I can't wait to see the movie. I love seeing with him and TJ Miller the way they just keep insulting each other. He goes,
I was excited
it's
when I
bad.
saw
I look
TJ.
like a testicle with teeth. Like, that's the one that stands out to
You
me.
look like an avocado fucked an even uglier avocado. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you are forgetting that we're still friends, right?
Oh, you look like the Hulk had sex with a topographical map of Idaho? Utah.
I love that.
I just like how he's calmly like, I appreciate that.
Quit being a dick now. Anytime now.
All right, ladies and germs, we're about to get the fuck up out of here.
Yeah, we're gonna close this out. Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Shit's Alan's playing, as well as our first little segments. This is the basically first time that all three of the hosts have been together, and I believe this is our first four-way as well. Giggity.
Ooh.
But,
Sure, and you bring the Dyke along.
Baby oil, who wanna put it on?
We're not live streaming anymore. That was Alan, and
on that
with all due respect, we're gonna use a lot of baby oil.
He had like 5 minutes to prep for that scene. I hope you know that. Have you ever heard the behind the scenes on that? He was given like, all right, this is what you're gonna say. Just come out doing it.
It's like, just do that shit, man. All right, on that sexy note, I am Shane.
I'm Alan.
I'm Randy.
I'm Chris.
And we're out this bitch. Stay tuned for next week. We will be doing Daredevil / Jessica Jones, doing some more Marvel discussions. So until next time, we will see you guys.
May the force be with
This has been an Upside Down production. The Geekly Gab and Nerdical Nonsense Show was recorded in the Green Room at the Command Center in Muskegon, Michigan. Thanks for tuning in.